has to do with predicting certain astronomical events. So different civilizations have attempted this problem in different ways, and the picture that they evolved are also quite different. So once we get deeper into that, so they wanted to predict various astronomical events that gave birth to the field of mathematics, astronomy, and so on. So this notion of infinitesimal and infinite, as I was explaining to you, so this really escaped the other ancient civilization called Greek civilization. In fact, there are textbooks which many of you will see that point out very clearly that Greece is the birthplace of science. So whether you want to talk about logic, whether you want to talk about science and so on, so you say that they are the people who have contributed. They are the people who have contributed. So I think other nations, other civilizations have absolutely no contribution. I mean, this is how picture has been portrayed in various things. So in fact, this particular concept of infinitesimal and infinite, so it has been recognized recently that the Greek could not do this kind of a thing. Whereas in the Indian civilization, it was quite possible for people to handle both this concept of infinitesimal and infinite. See, this has to do with the kind of philosophy, civilization, their own understanding and so on. But it has been sort of so easily ingrained in their philosophical system. See, this notion of Brahman, so Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan, so Purnamada, Purnamidam, etc. So all these have been understood in a different way, in a different context, and therefore it was far more easier for them to meddle with this concept and come out with. So that has been very interestingly expressed in this book, as I was mentioning earlier, Zero, the biography of the dangerous idea. So Charles Lefebvre has very clearly said. And see, unlike the Greeks, Indians did not see. In fact, there are other aspects, squares in the square numbers, area in areas. I mean, the whole approach, the kind of approach that they had to mathematics is somewhat different. So that is what he is trying to explain to this text. So many of you, particularly this students, should know that today we have this decimal place value system. Okay. So, which civilization developed decimal place value system? Huh? Yeah. So here, base value system itself is one level of abstraction. And what do you choose as the base? You can choose 60, you can choose 16, you can choose 10, and so on and so forth. And here, so particularly this decimal place value system undoubtedly is the contribution of Indians. Okay, so this is something which is fairly well known now. So both zero as well as decimal place value. What is not known is that the foundations of calculus will also be developed here. So that is what I wanted to convey. So this is somewhat very well known, and this is a very, very important contribution. And in fact, what are the earlier sources that we have is very clearly explained this. So I actually tried to find out the original Sanskrit sources were the most ancient ones. So wherein this has been beautifully explained. So in fact, this Yoga Sutra, many of you would have heard Patanjali. So it has a commentary, and there it says, Yatha eka rekha shatasthane shatam dasasthane dasha eka ja ekasthane. You understand? So you have a certain notation that has been used to represent some number, some value. So the same thing put in this place represents something, put in this place represents something. So that has been very clearly explained. So obviously, so this decimal place value system is clearly known from this. Shatasthane shatam. If we put 100 to place, it represents 100. So dasasthane dasha eka ja ekasthane. So this very clearly tells you that. So this is your Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It's very, very old. Not only that, in fact, very more graphically, Shankara in this Brahma Sutra Shankara Bhashya clearly says. This is a very more interesting graphic way. See, Devadatta, the same person. So, suppose we take Dr. Bedekar. So, Bedekar can be described as father, Bedekar can be described as son, Bedekar can be described as chairman of this institution, he can be described as this and that. So, who is Bedekar? So, it depends on the perspective, so from where you look at him and the kind of relation that you have with him. So, I mean, he gives this kind of an example and then he explains. See, Devantaha Loke Swarupam Sambandha Rupam Apekya. In fact, he can be described as Manushya, Brahmana, Shrotriya, Vadanya, Bala, Yuva, Kavira, Pita, Putraha, Putraha, Bhata, the brother, so son-in-law, and so on and so forth. I mean, the same person is described in various names. So too, this number, I am just saying. So he says, depending upon where you place, so and the kind of, so this is how one explains the concept of this place value, and so that is what Shankara does. So this is something which has been in this tradition very old. Okay? So, and it is not quite simple, this is definitely a certain abstraction. So both in terms of philosophy, if you want to question who are you, who am I? So it is a very fundamental question. So, and you can keep on describing and transactions can be done. But then these fundamental deeper questions, so that's how it is. Okay. So this is something which I was mentioning to you. Parithi basically means circumference. Vyasa means diameter. Understand? So Parithi Vyasa. So in fact, this description that one finds in these ancient texts is Parithi Vyasa Sambandha. Is all. So we are trying to find the relation between circumference and diameter of a circle. That gives rise to the value of pi. So they describe this as this. See, Parithi is equal to 4 times Vyasa into this series. See, this is an infinite series, never ending. So 1 plus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 1 minus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 5 minus 1 by 2 and so on and so forth. This is an infinite series. Only when you express as infinite series can you put an equality sign. So when all these terms in this series sum up, so that will give you this. Okay, so that is how it is. So this was for the first time in the history of mathematics. So this equality sign. So placing circumference on one side and Vyasa on the other side. If you have to put an equality sign, then it will only with the series, and this is credited to Madhava. In fact, Madhava is in the verse. I straight away quote the verse to you. See, Vyase Vaditi Nihate Rupahrute Vyasa Sagaradi See, Trisharadi Vishama Sankhya Bhaktam. See, Vishama Sankhya, you know, odd number, right? So 3 means 3. 3, Shara means 5. Okay, in Sanskrit. Trisharadi means 3, 5, etc. Vishama Sankhya Bhaktam. Bhaktam means divided. Follow? See, Trisharadi Vishama Sankhya Bhaktam. That he says, Rinam Swam Prathak Kraman Kuryat. Rinam means negative. Swam means additive. So Prathak Kraman Kuryat. So this is the infinite series is usually posed in the form of a verse by Madhava and the additive. So this is how he uses. See, Vyase Vaditi Nihate. Vaditi refers to ocean. So this is something called Bhuta Sankhya system. So it refers to 4. So Vyase Vaditi Nihate. The group of Rute, so and so on. So this is the series which has been ascribed to Madhava. Usually it is described as Grigori series in modern mathematical texts. This is one of the most fundamental things. See, this series, as you can easily see, the further terms will be almost insignificant. But then you have to count the infinite. So now you move on from finite to sort of infinite. So this is the kind of transition. So it is not so simple to understand, and it took centuries for people to understand. And this derivative of sine inverse function, see, so this also arises in the context of mathematics. So this has also been, see, this looks a very complicated formula, but those who know calculus, they know that this is just simple derivative of sine inverse function. But this has been written in the form of verse again, I will tell you. So Chandrabha Palavarga Shotita Trijyakakti Padena Samhare तत्र कोटि फललिप्तिका फलां केन्द्रभूति लीलयितवती. Now, in fact, I was quite fascinated when I read this for the first time in the early 90s. So 91, 92, I was just reading in some context. I was quite surprised. See, I had a training in modern science like anybody else. So I have a MSc physics. I never knew. Hey, some of the students I want you to answer. So give me names of a couple of mathematicians in India. Scientists and mathematicians. बताओ something. Have you heard of? Huh? Aryabhata, Bhaskara, Varahamihira, Ramanujam. Varahamihira is more known for astrology than astronomy or mathematics. Okay, Aryabhata of course was mathematician. Bhaskaracharya was in 12th century. Aryabhata 12th century. Bhaskaracharya 12th century. And then so we come to Ramanujam, so 20th century. In fact, the entire period, so which you should know, see, from 4th century onwards till the period Madhava, Neelan, and Falstein, this time 15th, 16th century, brilliant mathematicians have contributed for the growth of mathematics in India. So there are a lot of names. So Brahmagupta, Mahaviracharya, Sridhara, and so on and so forth. Many of us do not know. In fact, Brahmagupta's contribution is phenomenal. So this solving indeterminate equations of second degree, so it has been done. So many of us are not known. So at least a couple of names were given to you. If I were to be asked, so in 1991, I would not have even said Bhaskara, Aryabhata. So I mean that is how our school syllabus never ever highlights. So how many people know? It is nobody's fault. The fault of the system. So that's what I was trying to tell you, that it is essential for us to. I mean, this one should see. This naturally makes one feel happy about one's own. So this is all psychological. So more to do with psychology. What do you gain by knowing? So I mean, the very process of knowing gives immense happiness. And particularly when you know that your forefathers have done that. So otherwise, something that we are out of known India. So we are just educators. So this is very essential for us to know. So these are the contexts in which so we have to deal with the various problems in astronomy as I told you. We have equations like this, so we have to find derivations. So this has to do with the declination of the sun, as I was mentioning. So Uttara and Dakshina, see. So the sun rises at various times. Why? Because of this northerly and southerly motion. So all these have been captured in the form of equations. So this equation, see, if one were to solve, see, suppose you know lambda, so you know epsilon, so you have to find delta. So how will you do this? Unless you know a way to handle sine function. So articles, so हम students को बता देंगे. So sine value. So means if you have a scientific calculator, you have to press the sine button. Then you will know. So otherwise, what is sine? So you know, have you come across sine function? What is sine? Ratio of opposite side by hypotenuse. Very good. See, this is one way of looking at sine function. At least I am happy. So it is like asking, where does the bill come from? Bill comes from power. So sine function, it will just come from this. If you press this button, you will know the sine value. So this is how we have degraded ourselves. So this at least he says that the ratio of this to this. But if one were to probe a little more further, so what are they? See, the ratio of one side to other side, उसमें क्या है? Why is one interested? You draw a right angle triangle. So ratio of this side to this side. So what is its significance? So if you go further, then you want to find out the connection between the chord of a circle and the arc of a circle. See, this is what it amounts to. So why is one interested in this again? Again you will see that all of them have to do with the planetary computations. So you assume them to be sort of moving in some form. So if you want to do some mathematical calculation, so then all of them naturally come. See, why is one interested in Pythagorean theorem? You will find plenty of applications. So it is so fundamental that these are so fundamental that the sine function in fact is ubiquitous. So I am talking to you, so my voice is actually amplified by this system. So this amplifier takes it somewhere and then it is transmitted somewhere. So I heard that this is also being captured and it is the webcast. So all this is nothing but the flow of electromagnetic waves. This flow of electromagnetic waves is nothing. Electromagnetic wave is nothing but, so if you look at any of these works, so this is nothing but sine and cosine function. Okay, dancing of this. So this is how it is, and it is sort of very very fundamental, and a lot of mathematics got developed in trying to find out the sine function more and more accurately. In fact, if you go back to the previous slide, the sine function is also expressible as an infinite series. So those teachers of mathematics, so they will know, the students of science, they should definitely know that sine is basically expressed also as an infinite series. And this infinite series is a very fast convergent series because the factorial appearing at the bottom. And when your calculator calculates the sine function, basically it restricts to 4 or 5 terms in the series, and that will be accurate to 7, 8 different places, whatever it is. But if you want to have more and more accuracy, then you should have a special program written for that. We should consider more terms in the series. And in fact, a lot of mathematics has been developed in this context by Indian mathematicians. So regarding pi, as I was mentioning, so this you should know. In Madhava, as I was mentioning to you earlier, so he is considered to be the pioneer of the Kerala school of mathematics, and his disciple was Parameshwara, his disciple was Nilakantha, his disciple was Jeshadeva, and Shankaravarya and Achyuta Sarati. So all of them have made immense contributions. Okay? So hereafter, if somebody asks you to give a famous mathematician, so you should at least say Madhava. So this much, if I have conveyed in this lecture, then I think it is more or less fruitful. Okay, so Madhava, so as I was mentioning repeatedly, so he has made very significant contribution in terms of giving the infinite series for pi, sine function and so on and so forth. Okay, so this sine series also in terms of a single verse. Okay, so all of them have been couched in the form of beautiful verses. In fact, many of these modern scientists in one talks, they are simply surprised. How is it that people have been able to capture all these things without symbols? So today, we are so accustomed to this. It's like, so after 20 years or 30 years, can you live without mobile? Today, we have landed up in a situation that we cannot live without mobile, without computer, etc. etc. This is how it seems to be. 30, 40 years back, nobody was even thinking of any of these things. So similarly, I mean, even when science develops, so symbols etc. come at a certain stage. The concepts have been there for quite some time, and if you have been able to codify this in some other form, that itself is a very significant thing. So, purely from intellectual viewpoint, it is a sheer excitement to see that how these things are being captured in a completely different way, in a different context. So that itself is quite exciting to know, and it should be made known also. So here Madhava has sort of given all this infinite series in the form of very short verses. So this Nilakantha's discussion, as I told you, on irrationality, so this has been, in fact, Nilakantha towards the end of the discussion he says, Mahantam Advanam Gatvati Alpayatum Eva Labhyate Niravayatum Tu Vapi Narabhyam. Niravayava and Savayava basically means, see, it is like this. Suppose you want to express the ratio of two things. If you cannot express, you make the division much smaller. Then it is possible that you can express. You make further smaller, is it possible to express? So what he is saying is, even if you go a long way, Mahanta Madhvanam Gatvapi, which is a phrase in English, right? Even if you go a long way. So that's what he is saying. So it is no way it is possible to express this circumference by diameter without having a fractional part within it. So what more can be stated with reference to irrationality? See? So this is what it is. Niravayavatvam Vati Nalabhyam iti bhavah. So after a long discussion, this is what he concludes regarding that. As I was mentioning about this infinite geometric series, in fact, this is a geometric series. So this has some infinite number of terms. All these actually sum to the value 1 by 3. So this arises in some context, and Nilakanta so gives this value. So this formula in fact is ascribed to some of the earliest. So this infinite geometric series summing to 1 by 3 is not a simple thing. So here is where the notion of limit comes into picture. See, you know that as n increases, the value decreases. But the question that arises is, how do you know that all the infinite contributions here, maybe it is infinitesimal, will definitely add up to 1 by 3? And how do you know that it does not overshoot 1 by 3? Maybe overshooting by a small amount. How do you know? So that's where the notion of limit comes into picture. And you should have a rigorous way to prove this. You understand? In simple terms, I know that 1 by 4 is something, 1 by 16 is something, 1 by 64 is something, 1 by and so on, so I know that. They are all decreasing, rapidly decreasing. But this rapidly decreasing sequence also, how do you know that necessarily adds up to 1 by 3 and does not overshoot 1 by 3? In fact, this is a question that arises to any mathematician. And this question has been asked, so this arises in some context, I will skip this. And he asked this question, Katham punaha tavadeva vardhate, tavad vardhate cha. This is a beautiful way, beautiful phrase in Sanskrit. Tavadeva means only up to that. And the tavad vardhate cha means necessarily up to that. See, you know, even if you take million terms in this left hand side, it is not going to be 1 by 3. But if you take one more trillion term into that, so it will be much closer. But how do you know that if you take all the infinite terms that it is not going to overshoot and it will definitely lead to that? So there should be a way to prove all this, and that has been also shown. See, that's what is called rigor in mathematics. In fact, it is called Tulya Cheda Parabhaga Parampara. The geometric series. Cheda is divisor. Tulya Cheda is same divisor. Parabhaga means the next term also adds one more. Parampara is series. You understand? So Tulya Cheda Parabhaga Parampara. So this now improves. So I will keep all this. So I think I have spoken for almost an hour. So this verse you should know. Aryabhata. So in 499 AD, his Aryabhatiya gives the value of pi correct to 4 decimal places. So this is the verse. Chaturadhikam Chadamartagunam Vashashtis Katha Sahasranam Ayutadvaya Vishkambasya Asanno Vritta Parinamaha. See, what is more important here is to note this term Asanna. Asanna means close by. So, very close. So, Aryabhata does not say that this ratio gives you exactly the value, but it is only close or approximate. You understand? So this ratio, so this is what it is. Ayuta Dvaya, Ayuta is 10,000, Ayuta Dvaya is 20,000. So the numerator is this, so denominator is this. So that's why I have put this approximate. Okay. So it is in this context that Nilakanta asked the question. Why did Aryabhata say Asana? He could have given the exact value. And then he said it is impossible to express. And therefore Aryabhata called it Asana. So that is how the discussion which I showed you earlier. But Madhava, so this man, this Madhava, seemed to have given pi value correct to 11 decimal places. So it is not that you measure the circumference and then you measure the diameter and you will be able to come up with a value. However big you draw the circle, it is humanly impossible. You understand? So measuring something by something is not going to help you. You should have developed mathematical tools which will be able to tell you. And as I told you, he got the series, but that series is a very, very slowly converting series, extremely slowly, excruciatingly slowly converting series. Even if you take million terms in the series, you will not able to get the value correct to 4 5 decimal places. So, but then how did Madhava do that? Madhava has given correct 11 decimal places. So it's a very brilliant contribution. A beautiful analysis has been done in the series, wherein the slowly converging series has been converted into fast converging series. So that you don't need to take 5,000 terms, you just take 50 terms. You don't need to take 5 million terms, just handle with 50 terms. You will be able to get as much accuracy as you want. So there is a certain method that has been given by them, so which is very brilliant. And I think that's what would have enabled Madhava to give the value correct to 11 decimal places. But why do you need so accurately? That is also another question. So there again I would say it is all sort of interlinked. Okay? So if you want to find out sine value correctly, if you want to get the longitude correctly, you want sine value correctly, if you want to know sine value correctly, then you should know the value of this ratio correctly. So it is all sort of interlinked, and one will be able to appreciate why they did all this. Okay. So this is the verse. Vibhuta netra gajahi kutashana. See, students should note this. Even representing number, so it's one level of abstraction. So how many people are there? 3 are there. I have a sense. 3 are there, 30 are there. How do you represent this 32? So you write like this, or you write like this, or you write Roman. I mean, various things have been developed over a certain period of time, right? So there is one level of abstraction. Knowing some number is one thing. Giving a certain notation through which you can compare to somebody else. So one is having words, but then they had different systems, and one of the system is in those days there was not much to scribe also, and one way was Bhuta Sankhya system. In fact, all this is Bhuta Sankhya. See, for instance, Netra is eye. So what would it represent? 2. Understand? Veda, 4. So that is the kind of scene. You understand? See, Vibhuta Netra Gajahi Kutashana. Kutashana is fire. 3 Guna Veda. 3 Guna Veda. So on and so forth. Bahu is sort of hand. So that is 2. So basically what we have is this number is given by the string, and the denominator is Nava Nikarva. Nikarva is 10 to the power of 11. Nava is 9. So if you divide this by this, whatever you get is the value of Parithimanam Idam Jagadur Budha. Budha means wise people. He says wise people say this to be the value of 5. Okay. So this is how Madhava actually gives the value of 5. So if one were to investigate in the tradition, see, Madhava's works are not available today. This verse which I am quoting here is quoted by later people. They ascribe it to Madhava. In fact, that is how it is. Madhavacharyaha punaha ato pyasangadamam parisankyam uttavan. Madhava told much better value of 5. So this is how the commentators. So, but Madhava, this verse also seems to be saying Jagadur Buddha, wise people say, but before Madhava we do not know anyone. Therefore, so we ascribe it to Madhava. So these are all proof. So I just skip all this. I am coming to the end of my talk now. So this Madhava, the series, as I told you, is excruciatingly slowly converting series, and he has developed a certain technique, and this technique is what is called Antya Samskara. You know what is Antya Samskara? In common language, Antya Samskara means so a person ho gaya, so here it is used in a different sense. See, the series, you handle the series, you cannot handle anymore, you got bored. So you do some Antya Samskara and then you get a very refined value. See, it is in that sense, okay? The Samskara that you do to the series, end of the series rather. So it's a very nice term which has been coined. Okay. So see, it is like this. You have this series, and at some point you feel like, see, I am feeling bored. I have done up to 51 terms in the series. I do not want to do any more division and then add, subtract, all that. I am bored. So Madhava gives you a way, wherever you want to terminate the series, you add some term based on the last term that you have done. So that is what we call as Manjya Samskara. Do that and you will be able to get the precise value. Okay? So that's what I was saying. See, Yat Sankhayatra Harani. Harani is division. Nivritta Vritistu. Vriti is division. Nivritta means you retire. You retire from dividing. Why did you retire? Jamita. Jamita is something means boredom. Okay. Because of boredom, you feel like stopping. You better stop. Don't worry. So there is a technique by which you can get the accurate value. So that is what Amatava is. See, Labdha Parati Sukshmaha Ati Sukshmaha Syat. It is very accurate. So these are the details of it. I am just keeping all of them. And Aryabhata himself has given a very beautiful thing, which is in modern terms we call it as a recursion relation. You know one sign value, you will be able to get all the successive values based on the procedure. It is a very, very interesting method. So this is the sign series which I was telling you. See, so Nihatya Chapa Vargena Chapam Tattat Pavanicha. Chapa means basically arc theta. See, Chapa Vargena Chapam Nihatya means multiply arc theta square by arc theta. See, those of you who know sign series, you can easily see that. See, all the odd powers will come here. See, theta, theta 2, theta power 5 and so on and so forth will come. And denominator should have 3 factorial, 5 factorial and so on. See, that is all. Famous series. Sign series has been again couched in the form of a beautiful words. This is the instantaneous velocity, as I told you, in calculating the planetary positions. So you encounter an equation of this form. But once you have an equation of this form, theta naught is fixed, whereas this is a variable. So if you have to find out the rate at which the theta changes, so obviously you need to have a mechanism by which you can find the derivative of sine inverse function, and it is in this context given that too. Okay. The last slide. So till now I have been trying to give you a certain flavor in which this field, what is called infinitesimal calculus, got developed in India. So it's very clear that the foundations of calculus and what is also referred to as mathematical analysis today, so did take place in Kerala by 14th to 15th, 16th century at least. So this much we have very clear evidence. So this Kerala mathematician, besides arriving at infinite series, have also developed a certain technique by which they can convert a series into rapidly converging series. This is not a very simple thing in mathematics. So there has been a certain procedure which has been very, very clearly laid down to do this. This is a very important thing. And certain results are quite clear as to how they arrive. See, from the viewpoint of methodology, so how did they arrive at this result? Okay. So when Newton gives a certain formula, so how did he arrive at this formula? Kepler gives a certain law, how did he arrive at this law? So these things are sometimes quite evident, sometimes it will be difficult. And the only way by which we can come to know is certain commentaries which are available. So if one reads them, so that this is media, what would have been the thought process. In fact, our tradition has been more of oral tradition. So in oral tradition, you must have a way by which you can convey things in as brief a form as possible. Okay? So that is how we have the sutras. In the earlier times, we had Panini Sutra, Yoga Sutra, all that is sutra in very short form. So then came the period in which it can be written in the form of verses, then later in the form of prose, etc. So that is how the tradition has evolved. So to a large extent, so we are able to figure out that certain things are not quite evident. So many of these achievements, so in particularly in the branch of Campulas are attributed to Madhava, who was in 14th century. As I told you earlier, so the way we have maintained the manuscript. So recently I was in Sampurna Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya. They have a huge collection, mighty collection. One is really appalled at the, so see this room ceiling to be much higher than this. And the teak cupboards, which are one single piece I am talking about. Okay, you have to climb up the ladder to go to the cupboard and then, so all these manuscripts are just put in some kind of vessel. But then nobody has an access. With great difficulty I entered into the room. But then they said we will not be able to give the info. So for the past 20 years nothing has been done to the manuscript. So it is just lying idle. The bureaucracy is terrible. And the kind of indifference that we show to this pressure is also something which is very sad to note. And in many other places also I tell you that they are just eaten by worms. It is all, I mean, the people have put so much of effort and the kind of ridiculous effort they have put in trying to maintain them over a century should be respected by us. If you cannot do that, it is a shame. So that is how things are, and it's not surprising that many works are lost over a period. So because of the indifference. So thank you. So with these few words, so I would once again thank the organizers and also the audience who were listening to me with great interest. Thank you very much.